Welcome back. 27 years after the passing of Bob Marley, reggae continues to be Jamaica's most far-reaching export. Yet a large percentage of its leading exponents remain unsung among Jamaicans. One such is Benjy Myaz, who has been in reggae all his life. One of the few artists who scored big in almost every aspect of the music. In addition to having command of at least 6 musical instruments and teaching music at the high school level, Benjy Myaz is a singer, songwriter, producer and arranger with hit records to his credit in all areas. Myaz has traveled globally both as a solo artist as well as working with other great artists in reggae, R&B, pop and gospel, but hardly performs in the Jamaican mainstream. Benjy Myaz is our very special guest right now on stage. Benjy.
Yes.
Welcome, sir. So good to have you.
Pleasure to be here, sir.
Yeah, man. Now, you have always been an extremely busy artist, but it seems like in recent weeks you're getting even more busy on the Jamaican scene.
I've always been taxing in an international way from ever since I started playing music as a bassist. So my established links abroad have always kept me back and forth like that, so I've never been able to spend adequate time in Jamaica to do the work I'm supposed to do on the ground to push Benjy Myaz. But I know my music plays in the streets and it's always on the radio, so I know there's a place here for me, and I decided to tap in by putting in more this time around. I would like to do that. Okay,
so you've been doing more work on the ground in Jamaica in recent months and so on.
Yeah, because I've been doing little cafes like around Kingston playing, because I'm also a jazz student and I like to sometimes appear in that category as well. So I did play Christopher's twice this year and about to play Red Bones Cafe. So these are the type of things I'm trying to do to network corporate Kingston along with people I know who have always had interest in me and was never able to catch me in this kind of setting. So I'm trying to tap in there right now and also take this show on the road to the western side of Jamaica where I'm from and do something for the city along with other people from my high school. Just things like networking and doing more work like I say on the ground. I'm trying to cover that right now in Jamaica. That's what I'm about to do.
The whole notion that when we're not seeing an artist in the mainstream in Jamaica, and what we're calling the mainstream is really the dancehall scene mostly. The local charts and not build on as a headline on many shows and so on. That's what we're talking about when we talk about mainstream, and that it's not true that these artists are not very active, or in fact, if it's money, they're making more money than a lot of who we're seeing in our face every day, and when it comes to work, they're working globally, and they're always busy. Isn't that the case?
Yes, because I'm operating in different places from different aspects. Sometimes I'm composing, I'm producing, I'm arranging, I'm a musical director for an act, going on the road, do some shows. I'm also performing as Benjy Myaz as an act myself. So I'm able to survive that way, because if it was all about my vocals and singing, then I would have to be doing what everybody does, which is not something I have always wanted to do. It's something totally different.
The hype and the... that was never the focus.
No.
But your fan though, who is the typical, how would you describe the typical Benjy Myaz fan?
A musicologist, a music-minded person that's filled with melodies and grooves and moods and swings, because my music is all about that kind of feeling, and it's a party vibe sometimes. It depends on where it's played. But I worked in the dancehall, like as I said, I was a bass playing rhythm band, right? So I've had the taste of the dancehall, and it's not for me. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with it. Everybody has their choice. Your type of food is the same thing. I think my crony's corner is Lovers Rock. That's where I'm comfortable, and that's where my music will communicate my feelings.
Okay, so that's how you would describe your genre. Mostly Lovers Rock.
Lovers Rock.
Touch of jazz and other influences.
And swing, fused with alternative sounds, progressive alternative sounds, because I've done world beat music as well.
So that would answer those who ask about your presence in mainstream, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
That you're walking a very deliberate route in music, and as one who is playing music, has played in all, participate in all aspects of music. You're performing, arranging, producing, and you're teaching music as well. And you play 6 pieces of instruments, Benjy. What are they, by the way?
I play most of the brass instruments. That's the trombone, the trumpet, the baritone, the tuba. I play the string instruments, the guitar, the bass. I also play the piano. And I'm also learning now to play the drums.
Oh Lord! So you're always in demand, aren't you?
Yeah, I can work alone. I can compose and produce and write and record alone. With a good engineer, I can function. I've done my projects by myself, most of my stuff, ever since I started. And I've collaborated with Bobby Digital and Freddie McGregor. I've done stuff with people, but I'm always a part of the musical part of it. So I put myself there. I'm present to make myself be felt in the music.
But aren't persons with your credentials a scarce commodity in music, so to speak, in reggae? There aren't a lot of people who have mastered so many aspects of
I can speak of a few people. I know Mikey Spice is very talented, and so a lot of people might not know Junior Jazz. He's also from Jamaica, but in the States. Frankie Paul, there are many musicians I know who sings and plays, and a lot.
Dean Fraser, isn't it?
Leroy Sibbles was one of the bass players who played most of the bass lines in his time.
Yes.
On the recordings, and yet he was performing as Heptones. So a lot of these guys are really musical. Ken Wood is very musical, and I've admired these guys for many years. I've toured with Toots, I've toured with Jimmy Cliff, and these guys who take an instrument up at nights and play. That was fascinating for me, because I would see the entire package coming out, and that's something that was fascinating.
Isn't that a distinct difference between dancehall artists and the traditional reggae artist?
It is.
That most of them are musically inclined. They can play something.
Back then, that was like a part of the thing to do. Even now in the States, the American artists, most of the American artists, top 40 artists, they play an instrument. They know how to play it, because music is functional in their side of town.
Yes.
They learn music in school, in church, or whatever, at home. Everybody has a piano. So from that background, and my father being a minister in the church, I grew up around the music, and I've admired most of those artists from that time that played the instrument were the artists I would gravitate towards.
Yes.
From Bob Marley right up, because once I see somebody with an instrument, I would take keen notice of that artist in particular.
Isn't it also a fact, Benjy, that people who play music, and a true full-blooded musician like you, time is not your enemy. Time is never running away from you. You don't have to be in what's going on at any given time.
I never felt the need to be Winford. Yeah. I've always been told I need to push myself more. And what people use, push to describe, I think it's more excitement and more, just more turbulence in the house, But I'm laid back. When I'm doing music, it's the same vibe, If I'm not doing music, I'm in the back of the audience too, I'm not an upfront kind of person.
Okay.
So, and I have to make music that's going to represent that part of me still, because then if you can't represent hype, don't make hype music.
Okay.
Because you have to have that personality to carry that kind of energy, and that's why dancehall is like that, because it's a hype, and the artists have to have that energy to carry that vibe,
The front runners have to be like that.
Yes.
You have some recent releases, or at least a single that's out now, and you had a compilation album coming.
Just released to the radio. In fact, Eternal Love is a duet done by myself along with Alicia from Montego Bay.
Yes.
Someone I'm working with, I'm producing some stuff with her, and we'll be working on her album very shortly. I also have a compilation of the best of Benjy Myaz, Volume 1, and I'll be doing a 3-part volume series, and that will be available in stores very, very soon.
Okay.
But I'm also reachable by the web, benjymyaz.com, and there's a MySpace page as well.
Okay. All right, Benjy, let's take a quick break right here. When we come back, we're going to explore Benjy Myaz, the man from Western Jamaica, who is one of the unsung heroes in reggae, who continues to be unsung and loves it. Stay with us. We'll be back.